It's 3:13 a.m. and what do you know? It's finally the time that I've been waiting for as well, which is time to cook my new food. So this is corn flour, breads, sauces, corn muffin consistency, muffin stuff, and it's about to get, well, a lot more potatoes. Light. I could use my flashlight actually, that's separately charged. I like the cooking aspect of fire. I think it looks good on camera, so. Let me take a picture of that real quick. I wanted a drinking cup, the type that I use for the custom Don Julios, except this one I'm gonna burn because it's actually cracked and broken in different parts. So drilling a hole with it to use it as a part or piece for something else would be useless, because cutting a hole through the center of it, it's already broken enough that would just damage the structural integrity. As in, sometimes some of the reused MacGyver shit that I put together actually can't be done, so instead I use it for something else. Just because I know whatever part or piece or brand it is at least something of good quality for some kind of use, if not one or even the repurposed ones that I figure out for them, if they're the right size and shape, and also textures and chemicals and minerals or elements that they aren't dangerous for whatever the purpose is. Of course, obviously. I got this little drinking bottle, not the Perrier's or the Synergy kombucha thing. It's like a chef's restaurant miniature bottle. It's really cool because, you know, standard restaurant size or standard doctor size. I like using standard size stuff. Burning a 5 Below bag is a cheap fire starter to catch everything else. Cigarette paper, wood. Well, for once, finally, for winter and outside cooking, I finally have a bunch of flat logs lined up. Well, not logs, but larger size stuff lined up, which is good because that helps with a steady flame. And then I'm going to put one of the grill trays over the other grill trays and go from there. This fucking coat needs to come off. Yeah, actually, I rearranged the place so that there's some hangers behind me, specifically for the fucking long coats. In fact, I'll show that off right now. And then there's that, of course. Now going over here with this pull string, you see. This is what, well, you can't, oh wait, yes you can see it. That one and this one are the coat hangers. So it started kind of medieval and cavemanish and went into like the 16 or 1800s. Sort of naturally from the equipment and clothes that I have. I mean, I was thinking about Leonidas and the Greeks with this one in the larger command style hut on the other side of this area. Anyway. So that's better for cooking, that's better for mobility. I cut out the internal lining of the leather jacket today. I actually asked the woman who gave me that specifically if she wouldn't mind if I did that. She's like, "It's yours now. I don't. Of course, I don't care." And I'm like, "Just making sure." Seriously, when I get a gift, I'm burning some woman's clothes I would love to use, except they're just a little bit too small my size, even for the gender neutral thing. I tried to turn them into. I had to tear apart my poncho, and I just used it as part of a new umbrella curtain set. Which I'm not that sad about, like, at all. Wow, that's steady. Nice steady. I'm gonna put the phone where I would, the angle from where I would sit. Actually, I don't usually actually sit up here in the space before the bedroom. Just lay a little hallway before you get to the bed. So, hidden in multiple ways. You can literally walk in. Trying not to put this close enough to you so someone can see, or the viewer can see what I'm doing. It's on a little candles holder thing. It's actually very interesting in itself. There we go. And I coincidentally flat part of my grill wall and bedroom wall, actually. Interestingly enough. This glove just ripped. That's good. So I'm gonna wait a little bit before I do the actual cooking. Just I don't want any of those plastics or anything to be part of the smoke that goes up. I, of course, have rags. I'm not using those yet. Gotta restation the food with the new food before it's cooked. I can. Oh, and so here's the Don Julio bottle. Here's the bottle cork. I'm gonna wait. Well. Move the French flag too. It felt like a little bit too much of an invitation. These needed to get rolled up. Anyway. On a Pronto King packet, which is also good. If I use like cigarette boxes as part of the fire starter combination. Cigar packages, etc., bottle corks. Human-made stuff that still kind of has a natural consistency because it deals with food or something treated like a food stuff. In other words. I try to be more commonsensical than nonsensical with this sort of thing. So yeah, this is the muffin mix that I mentioned, which was a lot of that burned using peanut butter as the butter for that. Peanut brittle. Like a giant muffin. But like a rice belief muffin. Hot. Maybe shouldn't have started so early before getting everything over it, but that's some nice solid birch wood, actually, the source. There's actually a lot of, I don't know if it's birch or ash or ebony wood in East Providence, Riverside. But it's wood that looks very similar to arbor wood, the classical white colored wood, which is traditionally used for both cooking food and for ritualistic, or dating, or heat, or warmth, or even clothes drying purposes. Arbor wood's pretty widely advertised for arboring activities, but it's always very solid wood. Just since it's always advertised for that purpose, we have, I think it might be birch trees from Scotland that they look the same, but they take in water very much. For the smaller ones, the larger ones stay solid, but some of them they get flooded to their insides in mulch. With the season change, my nose gets me to those ones. God damn, this is a big fucking rice belief. Okay, so I'm gonna have to show this off. So sometimes that is a result you didn't want. That's the burned portion out. Damn shame. Yeah, breaking up what crusted and just throwing it in. It's the same type of food of what I'm cooking more of. Well, this time I got pie crust for the flour. diced potatoes and pinto beans. Corn muffin flour mix, and then it's going to be pie crust mix, is what I'll intermingle, because I take flour cooking and baking seriously. The French national motto, the French country motto, is flour the lilies. That's where we get the large shit from, is our love of flour. This was something that's gained from and was just on the side, similar to Italy. Greece, it's interesting stuff. Latin America over there, Hispania, Central European, West European. So throwing in the new cans first, then all the stuff I did last time with the peanut butter without the burned portions. Should make a nice almost Pilaf chili. Pilaf chili muffin. A soft chili, really. Nutmeg. So Greek, Irish, French, Italian fusion style. Dry roasted edamame sea salt nuts. Also, I like the sound of that. Sea salt too. Sometimes I grab it not for the food that it is, but just the main ingredient that it's combined with. Nice steady burn with the logs. You know, I'm not actually wood cooking what's in a pot over a grill tray, over more grill trays, but it's the thought that counts. You know, I only use plastics and wood stuff and like cigarette stuffs. Small things, human-made varnish things for the fire starters as briefly as possible. Oh, she's looking lovely. So that's going to combine everything I already cooked with a bunch of pinto beans and a bunch of mashed and minced potatoes and the previous corn muffin lard ingredient nut mix rice belief. Which will come out with the consistency of, well, a pie, which makes sense because it's somewhat chilly too. So I'll be making like meat pie, corn muffin burgers, essentially. Well, this flour is going to need time to rise also. Thank God it's Jiffy. I want it in a Jiffy. And of course, in a childish way, I'm almost trying to like cheat cooking by getting a half-baked pie leaf and immediately feeding into with new wet ingredients at the bottom, intermingling with what you cooked, and then just throwing flour throughout is like a pretty amateur way to do something, but it does actually work. I tested that with myself to make sure that on nights like this I wasn't talking out of my ass. While that's waiting, I think I'm going to have some crazies, actually. They're very good. And I like them. Alright. So the bottle, yeah, it's a restaurantware.com bottle, which is cool. Useful. Classmate Mariah blessed me with this additional large cooking spoon. god. Yeah, nothing wrong with a pie filling chili muffin cake. Oh man, really good. It's almost like tacos. Almost like tacos, almost like chicken, but not. Completely French style, baby. Breakfast, dinner. Sexalicious. Apples to oranges. Dust to dust. Omelets from eggs. Dead chicken. Druid get stick. Druid kill thing. Woman cook food. Man help out. Female druid get stick. Female druid kill food. Man cook. And in France, we believe in our friends staying away. Just to let everybody know. We believe in that whole human immigration shit. Yeah, you might not have known about that. That's how me do it. That's how me do a thing. You know, and I take some simple pleasure in that kind of shit.